Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to discuss an important organ called pancreas. This pancreas is a mixed endocrinal and exocrinal gland, and a purely serous gland you expect, along with the compound tubuloacinar variety. What this pancreas has to do? It produces various digestive enzymes, and these are supposed to pass through the excretory duct system that exists inside your pancreas, and it also produces various hormones through its endocrinal part, and they are supposed to be transported via the blood vessels. So means there are different cells assigned with these two major functions to perform their duties. In the picture you are seeing the pancreas, and we should keep in mind that how its secretion is regulated. Both hormones and vagal stimulation do this function. And what two intestinal hormones we expect? The secretin and the cholecystokinin, basically secreted by, if you can recall, the enteroendocrine cells of the duodenal mucosa and being secreted into the bloodstream, and they are supposed to regulate the pancreatic secretion. And in this picture you can see that the pancreas is lying horizontally and is a retroperitoneal organ present behind your stomach. It is present in the C-shaped curve of the duodenum, as you can see in the picture. Another very good diagram, you can visualize that it lies horizontally, and its head is against the curve of the duodenum. Then you expect its central part, the body, and the tail that is touching the spleen. And now if you can see that there is a central horizontal running major pancreatic duct, and there are so many smaller ducts that are joining the main pancreatic duct, and that duct is opening at the ampulla of Vater in the duodenum or at major duodenal papilla along with the CBD or common bile duct to pour out its secretion into the duodenum. The pancreas is covered by a thin connective tissue capsule that sends septa inside, and it divides the inner structure of the pancreas into lobules. So means that the connective tissue that is forming the capsule and forming septa, also they are providing the passage for the neurovascular bundle to run in. The parenchyma of your pancreas is filled with the so many serous acini. What are these? If you imagine holding a bunch of grapes, and you can visualize the grapes, they resemble that of the pancreatic acini, and if you see smaller branches that are holding the grapes are just like the minute duct system of the pancreas. In this picture you are looking into smaller acini, and if you concentrate on a single acinus, each acinus is made up of 40 to 50 pyramidal shaped serous cells, and they are enclosing a central cavity inside. And now you can concentrate on the individual pyramidal shaped cell of the acini. They are having the central rounded nucleus with one or two prominent nuclei, and the basal region of this pyramidal shaped cell of the acini is basophilic stained. The reason that it has got well developed Golgi apparatus along with a large amount of rough endoplasmic reticulum, and the Golgi apparatus rests in the supranuclear region, right? That imparts a basophilic stain to the basal area of your cell, and the apical region of these cells, they are having the zymogen granules, and they impart the acidophilic stain to the apical region of these cells, right? Now in this picture you can focus on an individual acinus and laden with the pyramidal shaped cells, and you can visualize the bases having the nucleus nearby, and the apical region is showing the zymogen granules. And in the central cavity of this acinus you visualize a type of cells called centroacinar cells. They are the initial cells of the duct system that is going to be started from this center of the acinus. These centroacinar cells are low columnar, you would say, or squamous variety they would be showing, and they don't have the zymogen granules in them, so they stain pallor. Okay, in this picture we can visualize the duct system of the pancreas. That is a schematic representation. You can see the acinus, and from its center I mentioned that there lies the centroacinar cells, right? And you can see the initial duct system starts with the intercalated ducts. Can you see them? They are again lined with the low columnar epithelium. These intercalated ducts start within the cavity of the acinus and they exit out, and these intercalated ducts, they merge and join to form the intralobular duct. And now we expect that so many intralobular ducts are going to merge to form interlobular duct. That interlobular duct, so many ducts will join the main pancreatic duct that we have seen already, that is going to be open into the major duodenal papilla. There is the histological representation of this histology picture that you can visualize the acinus with the pyramidal shaped cells and the central cavity showing the centroacinar cells, and you can see the intervening blood vessels as well, and the start of the intercalated duct is there, and you can see the darker staining of these acini cells. Reason I have already told you, the basophilic is due to rough endoplasmic reticulum and apical staining is due to the zymogen granules. Here again in this picture you can see the acini, they are giving origin to the intercalated duct. The intercalated, that word comes from clare, that means to insert or to call. It is just like that we put a straw into an orange. Can you see? The intercalated duct means like a straw that is inside an orange, right? And these intercalated ducts are going to form intralobular ducts, then they form after merging the interlobular ducts, and they are joining the main central horizontal lying pancreatic duct, and you can see that it is coming to be opened into the second part of duodenum or the duodenal mucosa to pour out its pancreatic juice. Now we have to talk about the epithelium they carry. The intercalated duct is lined with the locubardial epithelial cell, right? And we can see that they are joining to form intralobular ducts, and they are also lined with that of the low columnar epithelium. You expect in the intralobular and interlobular ducts, right? And when they join to merge and form the main pancreatic duct, here the epithelium is now stratified columnar in nature, right? So starting with the central cavity where the centroacinar cells were just like squamous cells or locubardial, in the intercalated they become again locubardial, then in the intralobular and interlobular they become low columnar, and finally in the pancreatic duct they become the stratified columnar in nature, right? Now we have to talk about the endocrinal portion of the pancreas. You can see that in the marginal vicinity the purple color is showing the acini or exocrinal part, and that central in the color is being the eosinophilic stain. There is a cluster of cells, and their range varies from 100 to 200 micrometer in diameter, and what they are called here as islets of Langerhans. Means these islets of Langerhans, you call them as pancreatic islets, and they are forming your endocrine part. They almost consist of 3000 pale staining polyhedral cells. Their size is larger than that of the cells of the acini, and where they are located, they are irregularly scattered among the exocrinal part of your pancreas, and but at which portion they are more, they are present numerously in the body and tail of the pancreas. And what we expect a thin layer of connective tissue, like reticular connective tissue fibers surround that endocrinal cluster, and this endocrinal cellular cluster is, you can visualize, appear as irregular short cords, and in between you can see there are fenestrated capillaries. Definitely any endocrinal organ or collection of cells need vicinity of a huge amount of blood vessels like fenestrated capillaries to pour their secretion towards the blood stream, right? So when we use the term endocrine, it means they are ductless and they are pouring their secretion into the bloodstream. And when we talk about the exocrine, means they are having a full duct system well developed to pour out their secretion, right? In this picture, we want to learn about the cellular detail of the endocrinal part of your pancreas or islets of Langerhans. It consists of two major, you would say, hormones that regulate your blood sugar level and the glucose metabolism, and where they should lie. They are present in the cells among this endocrinal gland, you would say here, which is islets of Langerhans. And to visualize them, we need special staining technique to distinguish among these cells. Now, let me tell you about the names. There are alpha cells, which produces hormone glucagon, and whenever there is a low level of glucose, they start their action. And there is another variety of cells. You can see the beta cells. They are supposed to produce the insulin. And then you can see the delta cells. What they do, they have to produce somatostatin, right? And they have to decrease and inhibit the activity of both the alpha and beta cells. Then you can visualize the F cells, or another name is pancreatic polypeptide or PP cells. What they produce pancreatic polypeptide hormone, and it inhibits the production of pancreatic enzymes and the alkaline secretion. So it means we are now well aware of the cells that are present in your islets of Langerhans. One more thing about alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells basically situated more peripherally in the islets of Langerhans, that they occupy the periphery of this endocrinal area. And what about beta cells? They are located more in the center. There is another very good picture to show the islets of Langerhans, and you can see the alpha cells at the periphery, the beta cells in the center, then you see the delta cells all around. In this diagram, you can see pancreas lying along the curve of the duodenum. Now, suppose that food containing fat, protein has come from your stomach in a form of a chyme into your duodenum, right? And that is very acidic in nature. Now, what is going to happen? That the secretin and the cholecystokinin from the enteroendocrine cells of the duodenum, they are causing the pancreatic acini to secrete watery fluid rich in bicarbonate ions, and the CCK is going to cause the cell to secrete the pancreatic digestive enzymes. So the watery pancreatic juice, as I have told you, is rich in sodium bicarbonate ions. They are supposed to neutralize their secretion of the acidic chyme in the duodenum, right, and to produce the neutral pH, so that now the digestive pancreatic enzymes to function properly, right. In the list you can see the pancreatic proteases such as trypsin and chymotrypsin. What they are going to do, they have to digest your proteins. Next are the pancreatic amylase. What they do, they help to digest your sugars like carbs. And number 3 we can mention pancreatic lipases that digest your fat. And in addition to all these, we should have deoxyribonucleases and ribonucleases for the digestion of nucleic acids. So they all listed hormones, and which I have told you, they are supposed to make your food in a simpler form and help them in digestion. Now you can see the histological view of the pancreas, the connective tissue which is thin, sending septa in the center to make it into lobules of the pancreas, and the darker areas all around are pancreatic acini, and the lighter stained areas of course are the islets of Langerhans. You can see various ducts running in the septa. You can see various blood vessels in the septa, right. Now we can visualize this picture in which again the darker stained area are the pancreatic acini and the lighter stained one are the islets of Langerhans. Right, the septa is showing neurovascular bundle in it and trying to change the parenchyma into various lobules. This is a little bit larger view to show you into different stains. The islets of Langerhans are being shown here, that it's being covered by the reticular connective tissue fibers on its outer side and central large epithelioid cells to secrete various hormones. And you can see the well vascularity, so that fenestrated capillaries are there. The red color are being marked here, and the margins are definitely filled up with the all pancreatic acini. This is another view with the other staining, Mallorysian, and you can see the central islets of Langerhans, and on the margin are the pancreatic acini, right. Now you can see that various acini are there, the islets of Langerhans are there, and septa showing the parenchyma to be divided into lobules and carrying artery and vein in it, and various ducts of course. In this picture you can see that the parenchyma is being filled up with the pancreatic acini. Let me enlarge it a little bit more. You can see like them as a bunch of grapes, and having the nuclei, which is rounded one, and the basophilic stained basal area due to rough endoplasmic reticulum and the supranuclear ribosomes, right. And the apex of the pyramidal cells of the acini are showing the intense acidophilic stain, reason being the zymogen granules they carry, right. In this sketch you have to draw the capsule around, which is made up of thin connective tissue, and definitely you have to draw the septa and various acini, and centroacinar cell you have to draw, and the islets of Langerhans should be there. And what important we have to tell you, that the secretory parts in pancreas are namely the acini, number 2 are its centroacinar cells, and the intercalated ducts, right. And the things we do not observe here are no striated ducts definitely would be there, and will not lined by the myoepithelial cells, which we expect in the salivary glands. And another important thing about the pancreas is that its autodigestion is inhibited by the release of various proteases, activators, which are activated only when these enzymes reach the duodenum, right? Before that, when they stay in your pancreas, they are in the inactivated form. That saves your pancreas. Another thing, the low pH of your acidine duct system due to the bicarbonate ions of the pancreatic juice kept all the enzymes inactive. These things help your pancreas to be saved from autodigestion. So that was all about the pancreas.